From Chhattisgarh, Bastar Anam Deo and his followers reached the deep teak forests of what is now Bastar, a region of red soil. In the early 14th century, in the southeastern Deccan, the great Hindu kingdom of Warangal was overrun by the army of Muhammad bin Tughlaq. The Kaktiya dynasty fell. The temples were sacked. The royal family scattered. One of the surviving princes, a young man named Anam Deo, decided he would not stay in a defeated kingdom. He gathered a small group of followers, soldiers, priests, and a few villagers, and he walked east into the dense forests of central India, looking for new land. He walked for many weeks. He crossed rivers. He cut through bamboo thickets. He had only one possession of value that he had carried out of the fallen kingdom, a small black stone idol of the goddess Danteshwari, who had been the family goddess of the Kaktiya kings for generations. He carried her in a wooden box on his back. Anam Deo and his followers reached the deep teak forests of what is now Bastar, a region of red soil, hills, and tribal villages. He stopped at a forest clearing and made a promise to the goddess in the wooden box. He said, "Mother, if you will let me build a new kingdom here, in this forest, then I will keep you with me forever. We will build a temple for you. We will worship you above all gods." The goddess, the legend says, agreed. But she gave him one condition. She said, "You may carry me, but you must not look back at me as we walk. If you turn and look at me, I will stop walking. I will go no further." Anam Deo agreed. He began to walk again. The goddess, somehow, was walking behind him, in the box, but also somehow in person, invisible but audible. The footsteps were faint. They were always just behind him. He walked for many days through Bastar. Each morning, he would hear her footsteps following him. The sound was small, like a child's. He never looked back. He did not want her to stop. He walked all the way to the place that is now called Dantewada, in southern Chhattisgarh, where the Danikini and Shankhini rivers meet. At the river junction, in the middle of the forest, he suddenly realized he could not hear her footsteps anymore. He could not hear anything. He stood still. He listened. He waited. Nothing. He could not bear it. He turned around. He looked back. There was the wooden box on the ground, where his porter had set it down for a moment. There was the goddess, in her stone form, looking up at him with a small smile. She said quietly, "This is where I have decided to stop. You looked back. So this is where my temple shall be." Anam Deo did not protest. He did not argue. He understood that his journey had ended. He began to build a kingdom right there. He built a temple for the goddess at Dantewada. He built a small palace nearby. He made peace with the tribal people of Bastar, the Halbas, the Marias, the Murias, the Dorlas, the Gonds. He did not conquer them. He invited them into his court. He said, "You are the people of this land. I am only a guest. I will be your king only if you accept me." They accepted him, partly because he was kind, partly because he had come with a goddess walking behind him. The kingdom of Bastar was founded. It would last, in unbroken succession, for almost 600 years. Generations passed. The Bastar kings ruled wisely. They learned the tribal languages. They wore tribal clothes during festivals. They consulted tribal priests. And around the 17th century, a Bastar king named Purushottam Dev decided to do something extraordinary. He would hold a Dashera festival, the great autumn festival celebrated all across India, but it would not be just 9 days like everyone else's Dashera. It would last 75 days. It would be the longest Dashera in the world. And it would not be primarily about the story of Rama and Ravana. It would be about Mata Danteshwari herself, the goddess who had walked behind his ancestor through the forest. It would be a festival in which every tribal community of Bastar would participate, each with its own role, each with its own ritual. The festival begins every year on the first day of the Hindu month of Shravan, sometime in late July. A village girl chosen from the Halba community is selected to be Kachan Devi, a young incarnation of the goddess. She is laid on a bed of thorns. The bed, the people say, becomes soft beneath her because the goddess inhabits her body. Logs are brought from a particular forest to build a massive wooden chariot called the Rath. The chariot is built without a single nail, only wooden joints. The Gond and Maurya tribes pull the chariot through the city of Jagdalpur, with the goddess inside. The chariot is so heavy that 2,000 men are needed. Every village in Bastar contributes something. Music plays for 75 days. There are processions. There are rituals. There are tribal dances that have not changed in centuries. The whole forest, for 2.5 months, becomes one continuous prayer. And there is, in the middle of the Dashera, a very strange ritual. On a chosen night, a group of young Maurya tribesmen sneak into Jagdalpur. They steal the chariot. They drag it away into the forest. They hide it. The Bastar royal family pretends to be furious. They send messengers. They negotiate. They beg. They offer gifts. The Maurya tribes eventually return the chariot with great pomp after they have been properly honored. The whole drama is a remembrance. It is a remembrance, the elders say, of the time when the tribal people accepted the Hindu king who came walking out of the west and gave him their land and made him their king. Each year, the kingdom symbolically returns to the tribes for a few hours. Each year, the tribes give it back. The kingdom of Bastar was dissolved in 1948 when India became a republic. The last king, Praveer Chandra Bhanjdio, was killed during a tragic incident in 1966. The palace was taken over by the government. The royal title is largely ceremonial now. But the Dashera has never stopped. It has been held continuously, in some form, for at least 400 years. The tribal communities still pull the chariot. The Kachan Devi still lies on her bed of thorns. The Maurya tribes still steal the chariot in the middle of the night. The goddess Danteshwari still presides over the longest festival on earth. And every year, somewhere on the second day of the 75, the elderly Brahman priest at her temple is asked the same question by some young visitor: why are we doing this? Why so long? Why so elaborate? The priest, the story says, always gives the same answer. He says, because she walked all the way here with us. The least we can do is keep walking with her, for a little while, every year. Tomorrow's story comes from another corner of India. Subscribe to walk with us through the folklore of every region, in your language.